Welcome back to Real Phonies, where we take a love for movies and television and combine it with very little knowledge about movies and television. I'm your host, Christian. Join me are my co-hosts, Joseph.
Hello.
Ian.
What's up, guys?
And Jehu. Ian officially back in the gang. I think it's been like a month now. Like, Ian's here all the time. It's the way it is from here on out. All the people who texted me about it finally got their wish.
I'm on an anime episode, so I feel like that's a good thing.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, if you didn't duck out on this one, you're back.
Today we're, for the first time, I don't know, in a long time, we are actually at the tip of the spear of pop culture because we're talking about Star Wars Visions, which just released today.
The day of recording. Probably not the day it's released.
That's fair. Which is a collection of 9 anime shorts, all Star Wars based, however, not canonical.
Done by 7 different studios.
Yeah, I was gonna throw it to you on that, Joseph, because the studio thing. How many of these were you familiar with, and do you know of anything that these people had done?
I am so happy you asked, Christian, because I've written down all the studios and their notable work. So we'll
100%. I knew you were gonna do that. I knew it.
You usually are so bothered to be engaged. It's great that you're fucking Walter Cronkite.
I figure as we go through each one, we'll talk about the studio that did it and some other things that if you like the vibe of what was going on, some other things that you might also like that they do.
Cool. Before we get into the specifics, do we want to talk about general impressions?
Sure. Yeah, we can do that. You know what? I really, really loved this. I wish more things were doing stuff like this. And I don't mean just the anime per se. I mean doing things that are shorter, spend less time explaining themselves, are less worried about continuity, and are just telling short, cool-looking stories. This, even though a lot of this was very divorced from Star Wars continuity, it all really felt like the stuff that I really liked about Star Wars. And even the episodes I didn't really care for, which there were a couple, I still like that they tried, I like that they went for something.
Yeah, I'm in total agreement with everything you just said. I really like this. And I think I like even more that it's not canon. Like, I like that they just don't even care to try. And they're like, we're just going to tell cool stories. And in the age of where everything has to be a universe and everything has to be canon, I like that this doesn't give a shit and just gives me cool, stylistic things. We'll get more into it because certainly some I really like more than others, but I really, really dug this.
I think it was more of a mixed bag for me. I think, I don't know. I don't watch a lot of anime. I think some were better than others, but the writing I thought was very clunky amongst all of it. There are times where some of the lines that they said, I just laughed out loud. I was like, this is just bad. But maybe that's just how anime is, you know what I mean? And it just didn't seem well written to me was my biggest takeaway. There were some that were really cool, some that were fucking awful. But I thought all of them across the board, I just didn't think it was well written. I think it was cool in that it was like the short episodes. And I think there's an interesting way to do it, but I just don't think it's for me, probably is my takeaway.
This didn't convert you, huh?
No. The writing, like I said, the writing just felt so clunky on all of them, even the ones I liked.
That's actually a good point. What was the spread here on subs versus dubs?
Oh, I watched all English, no subtitles.
Yeah, I didn't even know sub was an option. I went with dub.
I went with dub with subtitles on.
All right, splitting the difference. I think it matters. I watched. I'm a purist.
Of course you are.
This is my new identity. I'm the anime guy, so I have to watch the sub version. And I think that does make a difference. I'd have to throw to the rest of you guys to know like how good the dub is, but like how good the dub is really makes a difference on how well it's received, because there are really good dubs out there and there are also really bad dubs out there. So I think that I'm not saying that might have been entirely the problem, Ian, but I can definitely say that could have contributed.
Yeah, I mean, there's this issue within anime when it comes to dubs is you have to make it fit with the mouth movement of the character. And that doesn't always make for great sentence structure.
Yeah.
I don't think it was a huge part in this, but I do think there is certainly a level to that in this.
I think there's shitty lines in it that kind of sold it for me. That it's like, oh yeah, they're keeping it real.
Yeah.
Like the way everybody would fucking mark out and say it out loud that he has a red lightsaber.
Yeah.
I fucking loved that shit.
Yeah.
That's very anime. That's very anime.
Like, that's what I noticed. Like, they explain the most obvious things, like, oh, we're the Sith and we want all the power and we will not be like, I'm just like, Jesus Christ. Like, you know.
Have you not
like,
watched the prequels? I'm not sure that it's that off brand.
There was one that was like real bad. And I almost stopped watching it. It was so bad, but I'm glad I soldiered through because I liked a lot more on after that. But there was one that almost made me turn it off. It was so bad.
All right. Well, I'll say I'm primed to like this a lot. There's something about this format because I think there have been a lot of different versions of this over the years. I think Christian referenced in our text thread the Animatrix, where it's kind of different shorts, unrelated stories clumped together from different studios. There's also a Batman version of this somewhere.
Yeah.
That's a similar premise. And there's something about it when you watch them all in sequence like I did today, where it's a little jarring even when you like it. Just because you get dropped in and pulled out from a story so fast and then dropped into somewhere new. So look, if we weren't doing this podcast, I probably would have done this at a slightly slower pace than we did here. But I still think overall, I'd say the majority of them I think are better than Transformers.
I would disagree with that. But
as far as the comparison to the Animatrix, I think that's apt. But this is like the Animatrix without its head up its own ass.
Yeah. Sure. I mean,
like
that's also the Matrix, though. That's not really the Animatrix's fault.
But I think
if I had a
Hughes
podcast when the Animatrix came out, I would have been coming in hot on that episode.
I think there, to Jay Hughes' point, though, I think one of the reasons the Animatrix suffers is how much it does try to, I think, have canonical shit in it. I mean,
right.
30 minutes of that is a prequel to the second movie. I think this is more freeing because it doesn't have to worry about the concept of canon.
You've actually convinced me, Hurt, that the very first podcast was about how the Animatrix is better than the Matrix sequels. I'm like, in my heart, I know that's true. I don't know I don't know if there's historical records of it, but in my heart, I know that that's what happened.
Right.
All right, let's get into them.
Sure. So the first one, called The Duel, is by a studio called Kamikaze Douga. They did Batman Ninja, which I still haven't seen, amazingly.
It sucks.
Oh, well,
did they do Afro Samurai? Because this is the one I like the most, and I got Afro Samurai vibes.
They did not. But they do the Sturgill Simpson visual album and anime album that he did, and probably are most notable for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. They're definitely like their hallmark is kind of this mixed 2D 3D style, which I think worked really well for them here.
I did not like this one. This one was one of my least favorite ones.
Interesting.
I thought it was okay, but to me was, maybe it's because I was really apprehensive at the beginning and didn't really know what to expect, and I wasn't all in, but I was not like settled in after watching that thing. I was kind of like, oh, maybe this is not going to be good.
Yeah, I liked this one a lot. I thought it was the right one to start with. I have some other issues with the order that these are in, but this was the right one to start with. This is the good one to get you into it. Two observations about it. First of all, let's just go ahead and make a 7 Samurai Star Wars movie. Like, we've half-assed it like 4 times now.
Yeah.
Let's just go ahead and do it. And second of all,
I would call this medium assing it, at least. This is definitely, I mean, this is a direct like Kurosawa meets Star Wars thing.
And also, man, I don't know if it was there before this, but these things really want you to know that the stiletto heel exists in the Star Wars galaxy.
No kidding. What's up with that?
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of that. I think this was the best. I agree with her. This was the one to start with because I think people who were like not anime fans, like, this was just cool lightsaber fighting. The visuals were cool. Like, I liked the fight on the log going down the waterfall. I liked that girl with like the spinny red lightsaber thing. I thought that was cool. The umbrella lightsaber. Yeah, it definitely had 7 Samurai kind of vibes. Like the lone gunslinger kind of thing. I thought it was cool. Like I said, it still had clunky writing, and I noticed that. But I thought, like, just watching people swing on lightsabers, like, that's kind of what I wanted out of it, and that's what I got out of it. I was like, okay.
This one might be your favorite because it might have the least talking in it.
Yeah.
It's mostly just a bunch of serious samurai people staring each other down and then fighting with their lightsabers.
I thought like the goon, like the alien kind of like village defense team was cool. Like there was like a lizard guy. Like, I don't know. One guy had like a machine gun. I don't know. I thought a lot of like these characters were cool. Like if you were going to continue one onto a show, I think this would be the one I'd want the most, because it kind of has a Mandalorian vibe to it almost. You know what I mean?
For sure. I think a lot of these do. I did want to ask at the end of each one whether you'd want to see like more of this particular universe, like more of these style stories. And I'd agree. I think this one is a good one, if a little on the serious side comparatively to some of the other ones.
And I like it's not Jedi versus Sith. It's just like this guy's not either. He just takes down people. It's kind of the vibe I got out of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I kind of like that. Kind of get away from like good versus evil, and just like there's people out there who are good with the Force who will fucking kill people. You know what I mean?
See, I think there are several stories in this that tell that theme better than this one did, which was kind of my issue with this one, which was, I guess I got the impression that it's trying to tell us that he's not really a Sith, but he's certainly not a good guy.
Right.
And I would like to see more of that. I would be more interested in that, but I did not like how open-ended that was in this 14 minutes or whatever. I don't feel like Star Wars is very open-ended. There's very clearly black and white, good and evil. Yeah. And so to me, this one felt the least Star Warsy. It felt very Kurosawa, to your point, Joseph. It's the one that felt the least Star Warsy to me.
Up next, we had, this is one that I actually had to come back to. And so I didn't think that they were going to be allowed to use like existing characters in the Star Wars universe because they don't appear in any other ones, really. But the next one is Tatooine Rhapsody, which is it's done by Studio Colorido. They do two movies that I've watched recently that are really good, Penguin Highway and A Whisker Away, and a series called Burn the Witch. They're a relatively new studio, but it's a story about how instead of lightsabers, we use the power of music to save the universe and save Jabba the Hutt's relative, I guess, from execution.
I'm probably in the minority on this, but I fucking love this one. I thought it was amazing.
If you would have told me going into this, we're going to do a rock and roll episode of Star Wars, I would say that sounds fucking lame. But this one was easily my favorite. This one was so fucking good.
I tell you, I love the concept so much, and I love the idea that you can save the universe through things other than lightsabers. But man, I just wish the song was better.
Yeah, this one was my first worse than Transformers one, and the whole time I'm thinking about. This is Joseph's. I'm like, this is definitely gonna be Joseph's favorite because he watched that zombie pop star anime. Is all I kept thinking.
But the songs in that show are bops.
I'm like, this is so his shit. But yeah, no, I couldn't get into it. The little slug guy with the hair, he was annoying. I didn't like the art style. I think that kind of annoyed me. And then the song was bad. And I think Boba Fett wasn't as cool as Boba Fett should have been. So. Yeah, worse than
Boba Fett's as cool as Boba Fett's ever fucking been.
Yeah, agreed with Joseph there.
When Boba Fett begrudgingly starts rocking, that may be my favorite Boba Fett moment ever.
I love the Chekhov's lightsaber of the fact that we think his Jedi training is going to come back into it later, and it fucking doesn't. He's a rocker now.
I loved it.
And, I should say, I thought the song was okay. I thought it specifically might have been a reference to a My Chemical Romance song.
This one, to me, is a ton of fun, and it's a reference to my favorite shitty style of anime, which is music saves the world.
Also, one more thing. There's ones in this that I think felt more like a pilot and that maybe we'll see more of, but this is the one I would most like to see more of.
Sure. So the next one the episode is called The Twins. It's made by Studio Trigger, this is my favoritism burning through, but I don't think Trigger has made anything that I don't like. They make Kill la Kill, Little Witch Academia, BNA, Gridman, SSS Gridman, Dynazenon. Like literally everything out of their studio is one of my favorite things. So I'm already primed to like this. I love their art style. The story of this one is it's two Sith twins who were seemingly bioengineered to, be some kind of super weapon. But then things take a turn midway through. What do we think about this one?
One, I just want to say I didn't have to look it up. who made this because the whole
You can fucking tell, right?
You fucking knew this was made by the same studio that made Kill la Kill. It's almost a very eerily similar plot as Kill la Kill about having a super powered suit. But no, I mean, I didn't love this one, but I thought it was fucking gorgeous to look at. And I was pretty intrigued. I was saying better than Transformers. It wasn't one of my favorites, but I dug it.
This is the one that almost had me turn it off.
Oh, no!
Yes. This was the one where I was like, what the fuck am I doing right now? Like, I want to go put on the Marvel What If. Like, this is the one. The writing was atrocious. Like, it felt like bad fan fiction. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it felt like Rise of Skywalker kind of. You know what I mean? Like, it was kind of like Luke and Leia, but I don't know. It just, some of the writing was so bad. I hated everything about it. I thought this one was the worst one by far.
I think you're supposed to think Luke and Leia. I think it's supposed to be like this weird non-canon version of that.
That's kind
it felt
of
like
it
felt like post Rise of Skywalker to me.
Yeah.
That's what this felt like it was set in, and it felt like just like a really bad fan fiction version of what should continue that movie. And
let me tell you, Trigger's kind of hallmark is taking a beloved property and finding like the core elements of like what they really connected with or what audience connected with and turning them up to 11. And I feel like that's very much what this is supposed to be.
This one only gets better than Transformers for me on visuals. It has great visuals. The design on the ship and the suits were great. I think the main thing I didn't like about it is that Neil Patrick Harris, like his voice was just so recognizable. It took me out of it.
Fair enough. I'll tell you the thing that I liked about it, especially compared to the very first one that we watched here, is I feel like it got like some of the humor of Star Wars right. There's like the moment where the boy twin is walking through one of the starship halls with the droid, and he's like, we've made it out. Don't worry about it. And then like immediately after he says that, the doors open and the stormtroopers are there. And I felt like that's like very OG Star Wars kind of thing.
I'd agree with that.
I also like the fact, like, again, I feel like they key in on some important things. Like the droid is so cheeky in this one, so willful in this one, that he's the one that makes the big decision at the end to do the light speed, whatever, not our main character. I don't know. I liked it. I agree with Ian. I honestly think the fact that I watched Rise of Skywalker affected my opinion of this, because I think outside of that, it wouldn't have bothered me as much. But seeing like a version of the fucking like Holdo maneuver and some other shit from the sequel things kind of jarred me a little bit, but I still liked it.
That's an interesting point, Joseph, because this one I think is the first time we see something that pops up a shit ton the rest of this show. Which is the Kylo catching the blaster in Force Awakens.
Yeah.
They apparently
they're mining the shit out of that.
The Japanese people, that really appealed to them.
So the next one on the list is called The Village Bride. It's made by a studio called Kinema Citrus. They're relatively small studio. They make a popular show called Rising of the Shield Hero, but they also make one of my favorite active shows called Main and Abyss. The premise of this is there's a couple on just a random planet that's been abandoned by the Separatists. The wife is being sold off to some like remaining gangsters for, I guess, protection, and then hijinks ensue in the meantime. What do we think of this one?
This one's my favorite.
Really?
Yeah, I love this one. I thought I liked the downplay of the Jedi versus Sith in this. I like the explanation of the Force and how like its connection to nature. This one has more of, I think, the mysticism of Star Wars in it. And I really dug kind of the classic hostage, give us your princess story. I really dug this one.
This is one of the two I give worse than Transformers. I think the wedding stuff just really bored the piss out of me. And, I know these are probably like based on Japanese wedding traditions. So just to be fair, I want to be clear, if they were doing like the fucking space chicken dance or they were scanning shit at Space Target for the registry, I would also think that shit was boring. And, I don't know. I kind of just felt like this one was like, if you ask someone who didn't like anime, hey, what's the shit about anime that bores you? And they told you, that's what they wrote this script around. But it did look really nice.
I was about to say, I think this is one of the best looking ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think
it's the most slice of life of all of these.
Yeah.
This anime term for you people.
I think for the ones I watched, this would be the Transformers line. There were 3 I liked a lot worse than Transformers, and 3 I liked better. This one I put in the middle. Like, I agree with her. It was kind of boring in the beginning, but then I felt bad for the girl getting sold off. Like, I bought into that. And then when the Jedi girl, or, I don't think she was a Jedi, and her master guy.
She was a Padawan, former Padawan.
I thought that was
Padawan,
yeah, I got into that. So, like, I thought that was cool. And she also had the stiletto heels, which, we brought up before. So, I think this one was pretty cool. So I'd put this one right at the line. Like, there were parts I liked, but parts I didn't, but it's pretty good.
Man, Christian talked earlier, or maybe Hurt did. I can't remember which one of you guys said this. More things with less setup. I love how much you can communicate with a braid in a single scene of hiding and screaming. Like, I know the whole backstory. I know who this person is and what they're about. And that's it. Like, that was like 2 shots, 3 shots, and 3 seconds of screen time. It's amazing.
But totally. That's my favorite thing about all of these is the shit that they just breeze through.
Yeah. So that brings us to the 5th one, which is called The Ninth Jedi. It's from Production IG, who's done a bazillion things, but none of which I've really watched. They make a very popular show called Psycho-Pass. They're making a current show that I like, which is Fana Pirate Princess. And they co-made End of Evangelion just for Christian and me. So, but the premise of this one is there's been a call from a eccentric, possibly suspect Jedi master or former Jedi person that he's making lightsabers, and any remaining Jedi in the galaxy should come to the beacon location to collect them. And people meet there, and it's not what they expect. What do we think of this one?
If I had to guess, I would say this one is Ian's favorite.
The first one was my favorite, but this one was definitely better than Transformers. I like this one a lot. Like I said, like a lot of fucking lightsaber fighting, which is, give me more of that. And I was happy. Yeah, I thought this one was cool. Better than Transformers. This
one was fine. I think this one lacks in substance a lot. The one thing I really did enjoy was flipping the script on Jedi and Sith in this. The guy who was clearly the Sith actually was the only Jedi, and all the people who looked like Jedi were all Sith. And then there was one dude who was both.
Yeah.
And I thought that was interesting. That was about the only thing I found interesting in this episode, because it was pretty straightforward.
I've not a lot to say about this one. Definitely better than Transformers. This one felt the most like the one that they might try to turn into a series. It seemed like it had the most setup, but for me, it was high on the pack, but not my favorite.
Oh, this one might be my favorite. I kept seeing the beginning with the girl who's the daughter of the lightsaber maker, and I feel like this could have been an origin for Rey. Like, this is where we could have started with Rey. And it would have been more interesting. Like, I like the idea that, like, the lightsaber colors of these lightsabers change based on, like, your, whatever, where you're at.
Right.
I think that could have been, like, it still could be if they decide to do more with it. It could have been an interesting arc to develop. I think this one looked great. The fighting on the ice with the speeder bikes was really cool.
I meant to mention that the speeder shit was great.
Yeah, I like the playing with, like, one of the things that bothered me overall, and this is not true of all of them, but by and large, there were less aliens than I wanted in this. A lot of humans.
Yeah. Dude, the main thing I thought about this shit is this shit was perfect for Wookiees and Kashyyyk, and there was none of that shit.
Right. But I like the fact that they play with scale a little bit with kind of that meeting in the asteroid or whatever, where there's like some really little dudes, there's some medium dudes, there's the giant ass robot for no reason. I don't know, like that's part of, I think, what's fun about Star Wars. But definitely to Christian's point, they fake us out so hard by giving us that fake Jesus looking Obi-Wan Kenobi looking motherfucker and then making him a Sith. God damn it. I think that's how they got me. But
definitely the turn with the lightsabers was fucking great when everybody lit up their fucking red lightsabers.
Yeah.
Did you guys notice the lightsaber maker that was Simu Liu?
Oh, really?
Yep.
I didn't notice that. That's cool.
I was like, I've seen this guy in one movie, and now I'm like, oh, I know that guy's voice.
So the next one on our list is it's T0B1. It's made by a studio called Studio Science Saru, which is by a director called Misaki Yuasa, who I don't know if any of you guys have watched his stuff, but he's pretty popular. He made Devilman Crybaby, The Night is Short, Walk On Girl, Japan Sinks, Keep Your Hands Off Azakin. There's a lot of things, but he's definitely a guy that plays with animation styles, which we'll see in this one and in another one down the line. But the story of this one is very much Jedi Astro Boy, What do we think about this one?
I think it was the laziest premise, but I loved it. I was totally a mark for it. The animation was cool. Jedi meets like I said, Jedi's meet Astro Boy. You know, that's exactly what it was. That's really cheap, but it got me.
This was anime like 104. Like this was too much for me. Like if it just felt like you needed to be like all in on this anime shit to like get into this because it was just too weird. It felt like Mega Man meets Jedi, like, with that old guy kind of reminded me of Dr. Robotnik. But yeah, I couldn't get into it. This is the second worst one. Only the Twins was worse for me.
Yeah, I didn't love this one, mostly to Jehu's point about it. It was so on the nose of, it was just lazy in my opinion. And I think a lot of these take from other stories and a lot of them kind of have okay, what about this, but in Star Wars? But this one was the most deliberate because it is just Astro Boy. I mean, that's all it is. It's Pinocchio. I mean,
I think it could have been better if they picked one of the stories or the other, but they decided to do both, about like, carrying on his creator's legacy after he sacrifices himself or becoming a Jedi and fighting the Sith. But I think fitting them both in there was a stretch. So the next one on our list is also actually a Studio Trigger one, but not quite as stylistically identifiable, I think. It's called The Elder. It's about a Jedi Master and a Padawan who are surveying the Outer Rim and come across a dark force on a remote planet. What do we think about it?
I love this one. This was my second favorite one. I thought the art style was probably my favorite. It looked like, if I was going to watch an anime, I think I like this art style. The voice guy reminded me of Harrison Ford a lot, though. It's kind of taken me out of it to a degree. I don't know why I kept hearing Harrison Ford, but I thought the Elder was a cool character. And
do you know who the voice was, right?
Who?
It was David Harbour.
Really?
It did not sound a fucking thing like him, but it was David Harbour.
Interesting. Yeah, it was definitely recognizable. I was like, I know this voice. I got Harrison Ford, but yeah, it was definitely recognizable. It's kind of a standard Jedi Padawan story, but like I said, I got what I wanted out of it, which was some cool action, going to a cool planet. I like the banner between the apprentice and the Padawan and the Jedi Master. So yeah, I thought it was much better than Transformers.
This one was also my second favorite one. And I like that it was the standard Jedi Padawan thing, but they did it a little different. When it started, I was like, okay, well, the Master will get taken out, and then the Padawan will have to finish the battle. And it was the opposite of that. And I liked that a lot. And this one had the best bad guy. That guy was, cool. Creepy and dislikable. Better than Transformers.
Yeah, this is probably my second favorite as well. James Hong was phenomenal in the little bit that he's in this. That might be the best James Hong voiceover performance he's ever done. He was killer. And yeah, David Harbour's great. I really enjoyed this one. I think this one had a lot of elements of things I liked about the Clone Wars, things that I like. I don't love the High Republic stuff, but there's some of the way like the Padawan talk about their Jedi in it, and how they're, again, kind of to the mysticism and connected with the Force throughout the universe. That's interesting. I think this took from that. I really dug this one a lot.
I really like this one also, but there's a part of me that feels like we kind of don't need it because this functionally is just a Clone Wars episode.
It did feel very much like a Clone Wars.
Besides the fact that the Master might be a little bit better than Obi-Wan Kenobi, that's pretty much it. I like the fact that the lesson at the end of this one is I feel like Jedi lesson in that, like, time's going to beat all of us and there's nothing you can do about it. Just accept it and release it.
Right.
I don't know. That felt very Jedi to me.
I said earlier I had a problem with the order. I think this one should have been the last one.
Yeah, no, that would have been good, actually.
It feels like it ties them all together if you don't think about it too hard.
Yeah. So the next one, second to last one we got is done. It's called Lop and Ocho. It's done by Geno Studio, which is a very new studio. It's only made one show, which is fairly popular, called Golden Kamui. The story is, it's about a planet that's being sort of softly invaded by the Empire and a adoptive family that's caught in the crosshairs. What do you think of this one?
This one was my least favorite one. I just felt like this was a story they already had, and they added Star Wars props to it.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah, I didn't love this one either. It kind of reminded me of those sisters from like the Ahsoka episodes that feel real random in Clone Wars season
Right.
7. I just don't feel like I had enough attachment to them to care about the story. I think this is the one that hinders the most from only being like 15 minutes long, because I don't have any reason to care about this family other than the dad's nice for adopting those 2 girls.
I feel like I agree with you guys. I think this one is like the most combination of, it's kind of got the Star Wars aesthetic, but it's also just kind of got like a totally different look to it. But I really like the way that this one looks. Like I like the world that it's set in. That's still like, it's kind of this rapidly industrializing, but still very natural planet with kind of these very like industrial empire things in the dead center. It's a very cool looking place, and I like the fact that, again, for a show that is very much about like space and aliens and shit, I was happy that this one had an alien protagonist as one of the main people.
Yeah, talking on that note, one thing this episode reminded me of was Akira. Very machinery center heavy. There's a scene where she's on the speeder and it's like going over tubes and stuff, and I was like, that looks just like that freaking motorcycle from Akira.
Sure.
But also the concept of like non-paternal brothers / sisters in this kind of going up against each other, though she doesn't turn into a flesh monster. But I felt like themes wise and influence, Akira was definitely there in this one.
Sure, yeah. That brings us to the last one on our list, Akakiri. It's also by Science Saru, who made the TOB1 short. It's
the story of Anakin Skywalker.
It's kind of the story of Anakin Skywalker.
Right.
There's a lot of background information missing here. What do we think about this one, guys?
So this is definitely what if Anakin were Obi-Wan. Like that. It's the exact same mission Obi-Wan was on Mandalore. And instead of choosing to protect Satine, he chose to be a Jedi. This guy chose to protect his love and became a Sith. I would have actually really liked this one a whole lot more if it was a prequel to the first one.
Okay.
Oh, right on.
Those are my thoughts.
This one is the Transformers of these to me. It's the right in the middle. I don't dislike it, but I don't love it. It looked cool, and yeah, like I said, it's the only one of these that I think could have benefited from more time. Most of these, I think the time they had is exactly their strength, but this one needed a little bit more time to tell its story.
I'll say so this is again by the same guy who made like Devilman Crybaby, some other things. He's kind of famous for having a pretty interpretive art style and a very diverse art style, I guess. And I hated this one so much.
That comes through in this one hardcore.
The girl with no chin was just fucking driving me crazy. So I like that really took me out of this one as a whole. I think the like coloring they use in this one is really cool. I also like the fact that, it kind of plays with audience expectations about, you very much feel like all of his, headaches and visions and whatever are like memories or flashbacks. But to find out, the twist at the end that they were the prophecy and it came true in the episode, I think was pretty neat. Also, it's the first time that I feel like, at least in a visual Star Wars, the Sith can actually canonically do some shit instead of just saying they can.
Right.
Because Emperor Palpatine talks all the time about bringing people back to life. We never really seen him do it. But this bitch just like walks up and does it.
Yeah. Oh, and that's to Jehu's point. I could have used a bit more about her, because the fact that she was a Sith was kind of felt out of nowhere to me, because it was like almost like a Hamlet story. There was the girl's dad murdered by his sister, and then all this, oh shit, she's a Sith gonna take over the universe. Like, I don't know, if that felt jarring to me, and I would have liked a bit more understanding of her in general.
The one scene that got me, I mean, there's a lot of things that irritated me about this one, but the one scene that got me in this is the bit where she's standing over the fallen Jedi guy and then walks back up the stairs to sit down like a shogun. And then the guy has like one more flashback, and then she just gets back up and stands right in front of him, the same place that she was again. I'm like, why'd you even move?
Did you know he was having a flashback? Yeah. Were you giving him his moment? Yeah,
anyway.
Totally.
This one was worse than Transformers for me. I didn't really love it, but it's fine. I agree. I think the Elder would have been a better one to end on, the seventh one. But that's all of Star Wars Visions. We're on the bleeding edge here. At least today we are. We
weren't the first person though, because I saw on IMDb one fucking guy had went through and wrote a review for every single episode.
Impressive.
Including IMDb has 10 episodes listed, even though there's not 10. And he made sure to go on there and say, hey, there's not a 10th episode.
It's important that his voice be heard.
Yeah, totally.
So now that we've got this, we've talked about them individually. Do we feel like this is a thing that we would want more of in the future?
Oh, hell yes.
I not only want more of it with this, I want it with everything. I want them to do Marvel. I would love to see this done with DC characters. I'd love to see it done with Harry Potter characters. Like I would love to see more of this stuff where you take people who aren't a part of a sort of IP universe and put them in there and just let them do their own thing with those settings.
Yeah. 100%.
I could go either way. Yeah. I'm not gonna deny you your satisfaction, guys, but I'm not clamoring for it.
I appreciate your generosity and your honesty, Ian.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm totally down for just fucking make more of these. Make some of these into series. Again, the one I feel like was the best setup of the ones is that Ninth Jedi one about the lightsaber maker's daughter. Mm-hmm. But fucking most of these, if you gave me more of it, I wouldn't complain. I'm down for it.
I do agree though, that ninth, the one with the Sabersmith's daughter, that's the one, if they make it like a show, that's the one I think that has the most meat on the bone you could still go with. You know what I mean?
Totally. But yeah, that's Star Wars Visions. Even if you don't watch anime, if you just like Star Wars or vice versa, if you have Disney Plus, check it out. They're all like 15 minutes or less. So, 3/4 of us think that overall it's better than Transformers.
And then one of us is right.
Anyway, that's it for Star Wars Visions. What have we been watching this past week, guys?
I didn't watch much. I introduced my wife to Stardust this week. We were sitting on the couch. Kids were in bed looking for a movie to watch. I was like, you ever seen this? She's like, no. And I was like, it's a good time. And she liked it. And I like it. It's better than Transformers. It's a simple movie. I think it's the closest thing we'll ever get to The Princess Bride in that it's this lighthearted rom-com fantasy that doesn't take itself too seriously. I think the cast is good. Yeah, I don't know. It's not something that I'm dying to watch like every year, but anytime I go back to it, I have a good time. Stardust, better than Transformers.
I watched two movies. One I saw in theaters. I went and saw The Card Counter, which is Oscar Isaac, Ty Sheridan, Tiffany Haddish.
Is it Rounders 2?
Yeah, and William Dafoe. And it is not Rounders 2. So I texted you guys. That's what I wanted it to be. It's like a movie that they don't make anymore. It's like an indie crime thriller that like kind of wants to make you think, and it doesn't show you. It kind of like doesn't show you these violent scenes. It kind of like leaves it up to your imagination, but it thinks it's better than it is. You know what I mean? Like it's not a good movie, but it carries itself like it is a good movie. And I hate movies like that. You know what I mean? Like if your shit stinks, no, it stinks. You know what I mean? Like don't act like you're gonna win an Oscar when you're nowhere even in the ballpark. Oscar Isaac's good. Like he definitely encompasses that role. I hate Ty Sheridan though. Like ever since the X-Men movies, but Ready Player One, like he's just the worst, man. And he's like this squirmy, greasy haired, like little shithead. You know what I mean? Who's just like, I don't know. I think they want you to hate him, but they succeeded on that front. Tiffany Haddish can't act. So, she's funny, but this is her in like a drama role. And I feel like she's been doing more of that. And I just don't think it works for her. I don't know. I feel like she needs some acting classes. You know what I mean? That's kind of my takeaway is like, I just see Tiffany Haddish trying to act. I don't see a character. William Dafoe is probably the best though. He's the villain. He's always great as a villain. He's super creepy. It's just, there's a lot in it. It's like part gambling movie, part Guantanamo Bay, like torture movie, part like trying to be a surrogate father. Like it has all these ideas and it just doesn't work. So I'd say worse than Transformers. And then I watched we've been trying to watch, finish off West Wing. We had like 5 left, and a couple nights ago we went on our HBO Max, but I guess we had given out to too many people, and it would not let us log in because too many devices were already streaming. so I went into chaos mode, and when I don't have a plan as what I'm going to watch, I just start surfing, and we landed on Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves on Disney Plus.
Cool.
And that movie's fucking great. It holds up. I love it. Rick Moranis, that's his name, right?
Yep.
Yeah, super funny. There's a Hot Wheels. They get in a Hot Wheel and they go down. It's him and his brother and their 2 wives, and it's got everything. It's got the kids have a little party, and the boys were trying to hit on the girls. I don't know. It's a very 90s movie. It was like one of Susie's favorites growing up. I also rented the shit out of that at Blockbuster, so it has some nostalgia. But yeah, it made me want to go back. I think we're going to watch the other 2, Honey, We Blew Up the Kid, and Honey, We Shrunk the Kids. I think this is the last one, so we're going to work backwards. But yeah, if you haven't watched those, they're and you have kids, they're definitely good family friendly movies, and they're funny, and I think adults like them too. So watch it. All right. Watch that over Card Counter at least.
So we've went wrong today, and I'm turning into a cock tease on this, which is funny because nobody wants it. But I'm going to put off week 2 of Santa Barbara again. Mostly because you guys, I want to do something shorter, and you guys said a couple things I wanted to talk about. Ian, have you ever watched the David Harbour episode of Hot Ones?
No.
You should watch it just because he was in the New York poker scene, and he knew the real Teddy KGB and shit like that.
Ooh, okay.
So
I love Hot Ones, so I'll check that shit out. Yeah.
He doesn't talk about it a lot, but it was just crazy that it came up. This has nothing to do with content. I just wanted to ask you, way back in the day when we were living the life together, we traded passwords sometime. Was there ever a point where you remember trading my password to somebody else?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, I wouldn't be pissed. I'm just trying to solve a mystery because somebody has my Netflix account.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying, I don't even want to cut them off. Honestly, it makes me feel less lonely that someone's out there watching my Netflix too.
No,
but I'm just trying to figure out who it is.
My rule on that is I'll trade, I subscribe to one and I'll trade it with people for other stuff. And then I'll give out mine to whoever for a trade, but I won't give out someone else's because that's how that's how we end up where I can't log into my own device.
My other solution to it also involves you, which is while you were living the pawn shop life, I bought roughly 30 PlayStation 3s from you. And I think maybe someone else just ended up with one of those PlayStations that still has my shit locked in. Only things I'll talk about that I watch, I'll just do real quick. All caught up on Ted Lasso, best fucking show on TV. In the second to the last episode from this, there is a fucking hug that if it doesn't touch you, you're a fucking robot. You were sent from the future to fucking kill John Connor. If you're not watching this show, fucking watch it. Also, there was another good thing I'll say about that show. I hate anytime any TV show, movie, or comic shows me your cell phone screen. I feel like you have failed at that point because you've shown me something that A, is boring to look at, and B, the best you can hope for is to make it interesting and make me think, well, fuck, I'll just take out my phone and use it. But Ted Lasso actually does good stuff with showing you phone screens. That's the highest compliment I can give that thing. And on that, I also read a comic this week called Superman versus Lobo. I didn't know anything about the creators. I mainly just bought it because I'm a mark for whenever those two characters fight. And it had some fun stuff to say about social media and phones and stuff like that. And I recommend it. Superman versus Lobo. That's all I got.
Cool. I've watched a shit ton of anime, but like Hurt, I know that nobody who cares about it, and I'm going to forego it this week so that maybe you'll actually pay attention when I tell you about a thing that isn't anime that I've been watching. I started watching the Hulu show, the original Only Murders in the Building.
Yes.
Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Selena Gomez, which the basic premise is it's 3 residents in an apartment building. There's a murder in the apartment building, and the 3 of them, who are self-proclaimed true crime podcast aficionados, decide to start a true crime podcast. And it's just, I don't know. It's very enjoyable on a lot of different levels, I feel like. I mean, I think it on its base, it's a mystery. And I think it does the mystery elements well. It's got Steve Martin and Martin Short in it. So it's also a comedy. But I feel like also at its core, it's mostly just about like lonely people who are bonding over a shared interest and using their true crime podcast as an excuse to do shared things together, which is like, oh, that's me. That's my life. And so I feel like it's, I don't know. I think it's a surprisingly earnest show, which I'm glad that's just a thing that's coming back to TV as a whole, because it's something that I need. I think, I'm not a huge Steve Martin fan. I'm definitely not a Martin Short fan. I've always felt like Martin Short was to Steve Martin the way that Rob Schneider was to Adam Sandler. Like, it's just part of the package, but nobody's really his favorite. But you know what? I like Martin Short. Martin Short's my favorite of the trio in this series. So I wholeheartedly recommend it. You'd expect it to be a lot more generational humor just based on the cast. There is some of that in there, but it's, I think, again, kind of approached in sort of like an earnest way where these, people from different generations are actually like want to connect with one another. I will say, I'm not sure if Selena Gomez is a great actress, but I do want her to narrate a true crime podcast because she's got a great voice for it.
I've watched 2 episodes of this. I also really like it a lot. When you said you weren't a big fan of Steve Martin, I was about to say, fuck you. When you said you're not really a fan of Martin Short, I was like, that's fair. But he is really good in this. My one complaint is I wish they could have gotten Zendaya instead of hiring Selena Gomez to play Zendaya.
I mean, look, oh fuck, you're dead on the nose there. That's you've literally I don't think I can enjoy this show the same anymore. But it's good. I really recommend it. It's on Hulu. I can't imagine a generation or type of person that wouldn't like this show.
Also, further proof that Chevy Chase just must be the biggest fucking asshole.
Yeah, he is.
The two-thirds of Three Amigos get back together all the fucking time. And
he's never in it. Yeah. Never invited.
He's not a chill hang. Yeah. Anyway, that's our podcast for the week, I think. Is there anything coming out next week? No.
The only thing I know that's going to be, I'm hoping for part 2 of Santa Barbara next week.
Sure.
Let's pick something that we don't have 8 episodes of a Star Wars thing to talk about.
That's fair.
I'm sure we can figure something out.
Hey, Many Saints in New York is October 1st. Did you guys watch Sopranos? Because it's an HBO Max. I want to talk about that, but I don't know. Do you guys even watch that show?
I can give you the non-Sopranos opinion on that movie.
Hurt?
No, I was going to say I've watched Sopranos. I haven't watched this yet, but I want to watch it. Or I've watched like 4 seasons of Sopranos. They start to repeat themselves.
Okay. Yeah, we should do that. It's an HBO Max movie, so you guys can stay home and watch it.
The only other thing that I want to talk about this with the podcast, but I also cut something for time in preparation for this episode. I watched The Animatrix, and I do want to fucking talk about
it. Back-to-back anime episodes.
Oh man,
we've done everything else. We should do an episode on Animatrix.
Let's subject Ian to more anime.
Yeah. I'm sure. I don't know if it's online anywhere, but I'm sure you could find it in any fucking used CD store anywhere.
Surely.
It's on HBO Max.
It's like the Bible for books. It's got to be the most manufactured DVD in existence.
Right.
Oh, shit. I got to think about that.
Anyway, so thanks everybody for listening. Let us know what you think about the Star Wars Visions if you watch it, which I recommend that you do. And if you have any other episode suggestions, send them in. It sounds like we have some ideas for next week, but if you have a better one, we'll probably do that. So please rate, subscribe, tell your friends about the podcast. If you want to reach us, you can reach us at realphonies@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter at realphonies, on Instagram, real_phonies. Thanks to Zach Evans for art and Brian Velasquez for our theme. We'll see you guys later.
Later.